Hello everyone. We were discussing about the various configuration files existing in the Unix system. So we are discussing init tab files. It is the configuration file for init process. Init process is the initialization process for various kind of operations and functions in the system, and init tab is the initialization table which defines the run levels of the particular file configuration file, that at what kind of level the system operates. Then another is the init.d. It is the directory containing system initialization scripts. For example, script rc space n is the run at run level n. That means it is the rc script is to be executed at level n of the configuration files. Then it is also used to start and stop various services in the system. The initialization script. Then we're discussing about how do we configure the system. So we can configure the system either by directly editing files with a text editor. We will use a simple text editor and through which we will edit the different files. Another way is, in some cases there are some programs that modify the files for you. That means we use some pre-existing software programs which are being used to modify or manipulate the particular files for the user. Then another way to modify or edit the files is a graphical user interface. It is the interface that lets you manipulate the files indirectly. And this is the file system implementation. This is the complete disk storage disk of the system from left to right that is shown, and that disk is divided in different segments. First is MBR, master boot record, then different partition tables that defines the partitioning level of the disk, and then the different partitions of the disk. Then particular partition having different kind of information in its partition space, that is boot block, super block, free space management, inodes, root directories, and then files and other directories that are stored in the system. This is the possible layout. Then we are discussing about the internal view of a file system. First one is the boot block. Boot block is the first block in Unix file system that contains the boot program and another other initialization information that are used and that is unused. Then another is super block. It is always the second block in the partition which contains the complete catalog of specific information about the file system, including list of free memory, that how much memory space is available in this particular partition. Then it contains the inode list blocks. This is the list of inodes for the file system, contiguous and always follows the super block. The number of inodes is specified by the system administrator. System administrator defines the number of inodes that are available in the particular file system. It consists of file access and type information, collectively known as the mode of the file, then file ownership information, then timestamps for last modification, last access, and last mode modification. Then link count, the number of links available in the file. Then file size is my bytes, total size of the file. Then addresses of the physical blocks, physical blocks in which the particular file is stored, the addresses of those physical blocks. Then it contains data blocks. Data blocks are the actual data of the user that is stored in the your disk. That can be operating system files, it can be user data, and various program files in the system. Then some commands for file system that are used. First one is mount Mount command is used to mount a file system in the system through which we can access that particular file system. And another is unmount. If you don't want to use the particular file system, you can unmount the file system from your device or system. Then fsck, it is the command that is used to check and repair a Linux or Unix file system. That means if there is any problem in the file system in your device, it can check and identify the error or problem in the particular partition and can repair that error for effective use by the user. Then another is shrink. It is used to flush file system buffers. That means the temporary buffers that are used during the file system usage. These buffers are flushed by the sync command. Then there comes a cron tab. It is a kind of script or command that is executed without human intervention. Basically, it is used to verify the networks are working correctly in the system, that the internet connectivity in the system is perfectly working or not. To identify such kind of issues, we use the cron tabs. Cron tabs are handled by the cron daemon, which reads cron configuration files called cron tabs, short for cron table. It is the cron table which contains the information about the commands that are used to run in the system. It consists of parse cron tabs. That means the cron daemon parses the cron tabs, cron tables about the whatever the information is there in the table, and then finds the soonest command to be run, the command that is to be run in the very near time. Then it goes to sleep until the command's execution time has arrived. That means it waits for the time of the particular command to arrive, and then it executes the command. Then what is cron and cron tabs? Under Unix, periodic execution is handled by the cron daemon. As we have already discussed, daemon is the process that is run throughout the system from the start to the end of the system. So periodic execution is handled by cron daemon. Cron daemon is the kind of process which handles the execution in a periodic basis. It reads the one or more configuration files containing command lines, what are the commands are there in the particular file, times at which they are to be invoked, at what time these commands are to be invoked, and in some system it identifies the login names under which they are to run. That means under which username, under which user in the system the particular command is to be executed. It identifies that. It is the cron tabs are residing in the etc directory, and you can access it through /etc/cron tab command. And format of cron tab files. The format of cron tab file contains 7 or 6 fields. First one is minute, then hour, then day, then month, then weekday, then the username, and then the actual command that is to be executed. In this, an asterisk matches all the possible. If we are using an asterisk, that is star, it is a wildcard object which is used to match all the possible values in the file. Then a single integer matches that exact value. If we are using the single integer, so it will match only that value that is exactly same as the integer. Then another is the a list of integers are separated by commas. That means we are talking about uh, a particular group of values. That means whatever the values will be available in that particular list, that will be identified and matched in the file. Another way is to use a range, and range is separated by a low value with a high value separated by a dash, and two integers separated by a dash, it is called a range, used to match any value within that range. This is all about files administration through file systems in the Unix. Thank you very much. If you have any queries, then you can contact me on the details shown on the screen. Thank you very much.